There is a reason idiots make intelligent men look weak. They drag you into a game where intelligence is not the currency. You enter with logic. They enter with ego. You bring evidence. They bring certainty. You try to clarify. They try to win. And by the time the conversation ends, they have not become wiser. But you have become drained, reactive, irritated, and smaller than you were before they opened their mouth. That is how you lose power, not because they defeated your mind, because they controlled your state. Schopenhauer understood this. He studied argument as something darker than polite truth-seeking. In The Art of Being Right, he showed that many arguments are not battles for truth. They are battles for appearance. The person who looks certain can seem stronger than the person who is actually correct. The fool does not need to understand reality. He only needs to perform confidence long enough to make you look unstable. Kahneman explains the other half. Human beings do not begin with slow reason. Much of judgment begins fast, emotional, automatic, instinctive. A person can feel certain before he has examined a single serious thought. That is why logic often fails against foolishness. You are speaking to the mind, but the ego has already taken control of the room. So when a foolish person challenges you, understand what is happening. You are not always dealing with a lack of information. You are dealing with a protected identity. You are dealing with emotional certainty. You are dealing with a person who may experience correction as humiliation. And humiliation is dangerous, because the fool does not need to defeat your argument. He only needs to provoke your reaction. This is the trap intelligent men keep entering. They think winning the argument means winning the situation. It does not. Sometimes winning the argument is exactly how you lose the room. You prove the point, but you lose your calm. You expose the flaw, but you expose your need. You show that he is wrong, but you also show that he can move you. And once a man can move you, he has access. That is the first law. Do not react. Not because reaction is always wrong. Not because you should become passive. Not because silence is some mystical trick. You do not react because reaction reveals where the door is. When a fool says something absurd and your face tightens, he learns something. When he misrepresents you and you rush to defend every detail, he learns something. When he attacks your ambition and you start explaining your whole life plan, he learns something. He learns what still controls you. A reaction is not just emotion. A reaction is information. It tells people what you still need defended. It tells them where your pride is fragile. It tells them which insult can purchase your attention. It tells them how cheaply your composure can be bought. And this is why foolish people become more dangerous in groups. A stupid person alone is annoying. A stupid person with an audience becomes theatrical. He is no longer only talking to you. He is performing for the room. He wants the laugh. He wants the reaction. He wants the visible change in your face. He wants to pull the calm man into the mud and make everyone watch. If you react, you become part of his show. He throws the bait. You bite. The room watches. Now he does not need to be right. He only needs to make you look emotional. That is why your first move is not correction. Your first move is stillness. Stillness breaks the script. The fool expects resistance. He expects the long explanation. He expects the intelligent man to lecture. He expects you to prove yourself. He expects your voice to change, your body to tense, your eyes to narrow, your words to multiply. Deny him the performance. Look at him calmly. Pause. Let his words sit in the air without rushing to rescue the conversation from its own stupidity. That pause is power. Most people are terrified of silence. They rush to fill it. They reveal more than they intended. They expose the weakness of their own position. They keep talking because they cannot tolerate the pressure of being unanswered. And you spent nothing. But here is where most men fail. They confuse silence with control. Silence alone is not power. A silent man can still be burning inside. A silent man can still be begging to be understood. A silent man can still be performing superiority because he does not know how to remain untouched. The difference is this. Are you quiet because you are afraid? Or are you quiet because the conversation is beneath the cost of your attention? That difference changes everything. Because the fool will often push harder when you do not react. He will say, "So you have nothing to say." He will say, "You think you are better than everyone." He will say, "Why are you so quiet?" That is when the real test begins. A weak man uses silence as punishment. A powerful man uses silence as control. The weak man goes quiet because he wants the other person to feel his anger. The powerful man goes quiet because he has already measured the conversation and found it unworthy of his energy. This is not avoidance. This is selection. You are not on earth to correct every loud mouth. You are not here to explain reality to every person addicted to misunderstanding. You are not public property. Your mind is not a free service for anyone with an opinion. And this leads to the second law. Do not educate without permission. This is where intelligent men lose years. They try to educate people who did not ask to learn. They try to explain ambition to people emotionally invested in comfort. They try to explain discipline to people who worship convenience. They try to explain strategy to people addicted to impulse. They try to explain solitude to people who cannot be alone with their own thoughts. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted. Here is the truth. Teaching someone who wants to learn gives you energy. Teaching someone who wants to defend his ego drains you. The same explanation can be wisdom in one room and waste in another. So before you explain, ask yourself one question. Did this person ask for truth, or did he ask for attention? Most fools do not want truth. They want a stage. They want the emotional reward of being heard without the discipline of being corrected. They want to speak with authority without paying the price of accuracy. They want the pleasure of making a serious man respond to unserious thinking. When you educate them without permission, you give them status. You treat their confusion as if it deserves a seminar. You make their ignorance important. And worse, you teach them that your time is available. This is how foolish people colonize intelligent men, not through strength, through access. They learn that if they say something stupid enough, you will donate your mind. If they misunderstand you loudly enough, you will donate your energy. If they challenge your intelligence directly enough, you will donate your evening. This is not generosity. This is a leak. And every ambitious man must learn the difference between kindness and leakage. Kindness gives from strength. Leakage gives from insecurity. Kindness chooses. Leakage reacts. Kindness has boundaries. Leakage needs to be seen as wise, patient, intelligent, fair, mature, and good. That need is expensive. Because some people do not misunderstand you. Because your explanation is poor. They misunderstand you because understanding you would force them to change their position. The fool is not always ignorant because he lacks data. Sometimes he is ignorant because ignorance protects his identity. If a man has spent 10 years believing he is smart, your correction threatens 10 years of self-image. If a family member has spent years seeing you as the old version of yourself, your ambition threatens the hierarchy they are comfortable with. If a co-worker feels inferior, your competence threatens his position. If a friend built the friendship around both of you staying the same, your growth threatens the relationship contract. So when you explain yourself, you may think you are offering light. But they may experience it as an attack. And attacked people do not learn, they defend. This is why the intelligent man must become selective with depth. Depth is not for everyone. Some people get the full architecture. Some people get a sentence. Some people get a nod. Some people get nothing. This is not arrogance. It is resource management. A serious mind must have gates. A builder must protect the construction site. You would not let a careless stranger walk through unfinished foundations, kick over tools, step on the blueprint, and then demand a tour. So why do you let fools walk through your unfinished future with dirty boots? Why do you explain your vision to people who have not earned access to the blueprint? Why do you let people who do not build anything inspect the structure of your ambition? Because part of you still wants permission. And that is the part that has to end. If you are serious about becoming harder to control, then you need more than videos that make you feel powerful for a few minutes. You need a private operating system. You need repetition, pressure, sharper frameworks, and deeper training. Inside Patreon, I go deeper into the kind of content that is too direct for the surface level. Not motivation, not comfort. Private material for men who are done being emotionally available to people who do not deserve access. You are already watching. But watching alone does not mean you are advancing. If you keep consuming without applying, you will stay intelligent but unchanged. The decision is yours. Now listen carefully. There is a moment when the intelligent man sees the truth clearly, and every instinct tells him to expose it. He hears the shallow opinion. He sees the weak logic. He detects the insecurity behind the confidence. He knows the person is wrong before the sentence is finished. And then contempt rises. This is the third law. Do not display contempt. This may be the hardest law for intelligent men, because contempt feels honest. You see through someone, and your face wants to announce it. A slight smirk, a tired glance, a colder tone, a dismissive pause. You think you are hiding it. You are not. People feel contempt before they understand it. And a foolish person who feels your contempt becomes dangerous. He may not be able to defeat your ideas, but he can attack your character. He can call you arrogant. He can call you difficult. He can call you disrespectful. He can say you think you are better than everyone. And suddenly, the issue is no longer his foolishness. The issue is your attitude. This is how intelligent men sabotage themselves. They are right in substance, but reckless in signal. They win the private truth and lose the public frame. Power is not only what is true. Power is what can be perceived, framed, repeated, and believed. Machiavelli understood the danger of appearances. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." That sentence is not decoration. It is a warning. Most people will not judge the full reality of the exchange. They will judge what they can see. They will not see the years of discipline behind your position. They will not see the ignorance behind his confidence. They will not see the patience it took for you not to destroy the argument completely. They will see your face. They will hear your tone. They will remember whether you looked controlled or contemptuous. And if your contempt is visible, you hand your enemy a weapon. So you must learn the colder art. See clearly. Feel little. Reveal less. You do not need to humiliate the fool. You need to remain untouched by him. That is real superiority. Not the superiority of showing that you are above him. The superiority of not needing him to know. There is a practical reason for this. When you display contempt, you create resistance. When you remain neutral, you preserve maneuverability. A man who thinks you are insulting him will fight you. A man who thinks you are merely calm may keep talking. And when foolish people keep talking, they reveal themselves. Do not interrupt a man who is exposing his own limitations. Let him continue. Let him decorate the room with evidence. Let him show you his ego, his insecurity, his blind spots, his need to dominate, his inability to listen. This information is valuable, but you only receive it if you resist the immature pleasure of showing contempt. That is the payoff most men miss. Contempt feels powerful in the moment. Restraint gives you usable intelligence. The fool wants you to show the room that you hate him. The strategist lets the fool show the room who he is. This is why control must be colder than emotion. Not softer. Colder. A soft man avoids conflict because he fears pressure. A controlled man avoids useless conflict because he has already calculated the cost. That is the difference. One is fear, the other is command. And once you understand this, you stop asking, "How do I make this person understand?" You ask a better question. What does this person gain by not understanding? That question changes everything. Because some people gain comfort from not understanding you. Some people gain status from misrepresenting you. Some people gain control by keeping you explaining. Some people gain emotional relief by turning your ambition into arrogance. Some people gain superiority by treating your discipline as obsession. If you keep trying to correct them, you keep feeding the system that rewards their foolishness. So you must exit. That is the fourth law. Exit with dignity and redirect energy into proof. This is where intelligent men become dangerous. Not loud, not aggressive, not desperate to be seen. Dangerous. Because they stop trying to win conversations and start winning realities. They stop arguing with people who doubt them. They build something that makes doubt expensive. They stop explaining their plans. They produce evidence. They stop defending their identity. They construct a new one so visibly that defense becomes unnecessary. The fool wants the arena of words. The intelligent man moves the battle to outcomes. This is why proof is the only language that survives stupidity. A foolish person can reject your logic. He can mock your plan. He can misunderstand your ambition. He can laugh at your discipline. He can call your silence arrogance. But proof creates pressure, a stronger body, a public portfolio, a profitable skill, a finished project, a promotion, a business, a channel, a product, a result. Proof does not ask for permission. Proof arrives. And when proof arrives, the same people who doubted you begin revising history. They say they always knew you had potential. They say they were only being realistic. They say they were trying to protect you. Do not argue with that either. Let them lie. You are no longer there for justice. You are there for leverage. This is the final transformation. The intelligent man stops needing intellectual victory. He starts requiring strategic advantage. That is how he keeps power. Not by crushing fools. Not by humiliating them. Not by correcting every error. But by refusing to let their limitations dictate his emotional state, his time, his direction, or his identity. Now you need language for real life. Because principles are easy when you are alone. The test begins when someone says something foolish in front of others, when someone attacks your ambition, when someone tries to pull you into a debate that has no reward, when someone insists on misunderstanding you because misunderstanding gives them control. In those moments, you do not need a speech. You need low-friction exits. When someone says something foolish, say interesting. Not because it is interesting, because it ends the opening. It gives nothing away. It does not validate. It does not attack. It does not explain. It simply refuses to feed the performance. When someone tries to drag you into a pointless debate, say, "You may be right." Not because they are right, because you are not paying energy to prove they are wrong. A weak man hears that phrase and thinks it is submission. A strategic man understands it is disengagement. It is the verbal equivalent of walking past a barking dog without changing your pace. When someone attacks your ambition, say, "I will think about that." Not because you will, because it gives them the illusion of influence while you keep your direction. Some people do not need access to your real decisions. They only need a harmless sentence that lets them feel heard while you remain untouched. When someone insists on misunderstanding you, say, "We see it differently." Not because the difference needs discussion, because the conversation is finished. These phrases are not weakness. They are weapons that do not look like weapons. They allow you to leave without feeding the fool a battle. And this matters because some people do not need to be defeated. They need to be deprived. Deprived of your reaction, deprived of your explanation, deprived of your emotional labor, deprived of the pleasure of making you smaller. And when they no longer get that from you, they usually go searching for someone easier to provoke. That is when you know you are becoming harder to control. But do not confuse this with passivity. This is not weakness. This is not fear. This is not avoiding conflict when conflict is necessary. A man must still defend boundaries. A man must still speak when silence would cost him dignity. A man must still confront what threatens his mission. But most arguments with fools do not protect your dignity. They spend it. Most debates with idiots do not defend truth. They dilute your focus. Most explanations to closed minds do not create respect. They reveal need. This is why you must learn the difference between a battle and a leak. A battle has stakes. A leak only drains you. A battle protects your mission. A leak protects your ego. A battle has a reward worth the cost. A leak only gives the fool proof that he can summon your energy. Most men are not exhausted because life is too hard. They are exhausted because they keep giving premium access to low-level minds. They explain too much. They defend too often. They react too quickly. They confuse being understood with being powerful. But power does not require universal understanding. In fact, the stronger you become, the more people will misunderstand you, because growth separates you from the emotional contracts people had with the old version of you. Your family may still speak to the man you used to be. Your old friends may still expect the habits you are trying to kill. Your co-workers may resent the competence you are building. Strangers may judge the confidence they did not witness you earn. Let them. Let them misunderstand. Let them misjudge. Let them talk. The unsupported man cannot afford to be emotionally available to every fool with an opinion. He has too much to build, too much to recover, too much to prove, too much to become. His attention must go where power compounds. His body, his skill, his money, his discipline, his reputation, his private work, his public proof, his future leverage. Not the ego of someone who speaks loudly because thinking deeply would expose him. And if you are one of the few men who understands this, then stop treating your attention like charity. If you are serious, join the Patreon. Because you are already consuming ideas. But ideas without pressure become entertainment. You watch, you nod, you feel seen, then you return to the same patterns. Inside Patreon, the work goes deeper, sharper breakdowns, more direct frameworks. Private material for men who want to stop reacting, stop explaining, and start building a life that makes doubt irrelevant. If you keep watching without applying, you remain a spectator of your own potential. If you step inside, you choose pressure over comfort. The decision is yours. Now return to the law. Do not react. Do not educate without permission. Do not display contempt. Exit with dignity. Redirect energy into proof. That is the operating system. But the deepest truth is this. The goal is not to make them smaller. The goal is to stop making yourself available. Because the moment you stop being available to foolishness, your energy returns to you. And when your energy returns, your direction sharpens. When your direction sharpens, your work deepens. When your work deepens, your proof becomes heavier. And when your proof becomes heavy enough, the noise around you starts to sound different. not because the fools became wiser, because you became less reachable. A rare mind must have gates. A serious man must have filters. A builder must protect the construction site. Do not let fools walk through your unfinished future with dirty boots. Do not let them touch the blueprint. Do not let them rename your silence as weakness. Do not let them turn your clarity into defense. Do not let them drag your nervous system into their arena and call it conversation. Your mind is not public property. Your attention is not charity. Your composure is not for sale. The next time an idiot tries to pull you into his arena, remember what is really happening. He is not always asking for truth. He may be asking for access. He may be asking for proof that your peace can be interrupted. He may be asking whether your ambition still needs applause. He may be asking whether your identity is strong enough to survive being misunderstood. Give him nothing useful. Give him no performance. Give him no emotional feast. Give him no long defense of a life he has not earned the right to inspect. Say interesting. Say you may be right. Say I will think about that. Say we see it differently. Then return to your work. Because every hour you spend arguing with foolishness is an hour not invested into becoming undeniable. Every paragraph you write defending yourself to a closed mind is energy stolen from your future. Every reaction you give to someone beneath the cost of your attention teaches your nervous system to obey noise. Stop obeying noise. Power is not proving the fool wrong. Power is refusing to let the fool control your state. Power is knowing when a conversation is beneath the cost of your attention. Power is building so deeply that your silence becomes heavier than their noise. You do not win by becoming louder. You do not win by explaining more. You do not win by making him admit defeat. You win by remaining unprovoked. You win by leaving with your energy intact. You win by taking the hour he wanted to steal and investing it into something that makes you harder to ignore. One day, if your proof becomes strong enough, some of the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. Give them the same answer they gave your ambition, nothing useful. Because not everyone who doubted your rise deserves access to the method. Subscribe to Depths of Psyche. No support, no network, no permission. Build anyway.